What if everything that you've been hoping for, the abundance you've been visualizing, the recognition that you've been quietly craving, and the support you so deeply want but rarely ask for? What if all of that was already trying to reach you, but you were the one holding up the shield? Because somewhere deep inside, you've been trained to believe you have to earn it. You have to prove yourself. You have to sacrifice first and fix yourself before you can receive. Let's clear these distortions in your energy field and open a new portal. Welcome back to Purpose Driven Millionaire. Now this is episode 3 in our Spiritual Wealth Foundation series. And today we're diving into one of the most transformational and deeply sacred aspects of wealth creation, the energetics of receiving, releasing resistance to wealth. And if you've been following this journey with me, you already know we are not here to force our way to abundance. We're here to feel it and to embody it. And we are here to receive fully, boldly, and openly. Because the purpose-driven millionaire knows you don't have to trade your power for your prosperity. You don't have to give your essence away to be supported. You get to align, you get to attune, and you get to receive. And in this episode, this moment is your invitation back to your truth. I want to begin where resistance often lives. And for many of us, this shows up when we don't feel safe being seen, supported, or celebrated. Before money comes consistently, before wealth becomes sustainable, we have to learn how to receive love. And I used to think that I had a money block. I thought something was wrong with my pricing, that I just wasn't doing enough, that I needed a better offer, a more effective email sequence, or a bolder strategy. But what I've learned over and over again is this. It wasn't about the money. It was about my nervous system. It was about my capacity to receive. And it was about my relationship with love. If someone complimented me, I dodged it. If someone said, I love you, I'd shrink or I'd deflect that away right away. And if someone offered support, I'd try to give something back immediately because that's all I knew how to do. I didn't feel safe receiving. And that same energy showed up in how I ran my business, how I set my rates, how I showed up online, and how I interacted in person. And I'll never forget this moment. Early in my business, a client offered to pay me more than I was charging. They said, this is more valuable than what you're asking. And instead of receiving their kindness, I just shut it down. I actually told them no. I insisted that they only pay me what I had quoted them, even though they genuinely wanted to honor the deeper value of the work. And in that moment, I felt uncomfortable, not grateful, not excited. I just felt guilty, unworthy, and honestly almost ashamed. And underneath all of it, it was this story. I hadn't done enough to deserve that kind of support. I hadn't earned the overflow. But this wasn't the first time that I rejected receiving. When I was younger, I used to help my grandparents on their farm. Sometimes I'd pick up a few groceries for them, nothing major, just small things they needed. And every single time they would try and give me money. A few bills folded into my hand. And not because they had to, but because it was their way of showing love. But I never took it. I would smile, hug them, and push it back into their hands or leave it on the table. Because deep down, I couldn't bear the thought of receiving from them. Why? Because I had watched another family member over and over take advantage of their kindness, take more than what things cost, pad the totals, use their love as a way to profit. So I overcompensated. I took nothing. I wanted to even it out energetically, to protect them, to make it right. But what I didn't realize at the time was this. In trying to balance the scale, I was also blocking their love. I was blocking the natural circulation of generosity between two people who truly loved me. My grandparents weren't trying to buy my loyalty. They were just trying to give love. And I was too wrapped up in compensation and shame to let it in. And that pattern followed me. It still rears its ugly head sometimes now. If you take this, you're just like her. If you receive this, you're selfish. And if you say yes, you're just taking advantage of that person. But love, real love, it doesn't work like that. Real love doesn't take from someone. It nourishes everyone. It expands. And the same thing is true with money. So let's just pause here because I want to share something that might not resonate with everyone, but it's the heart of today's episode. I feel that money and love, they vibrate at the same frequency. Many people might argue that love is the highest frequency, and I agree. But hear me out. What if the doorway to financial wealth wasn't just mindset, work, or strategy? What if it was accepting more love for yourself? Giving more love to yourself? What if the root of most money problems was actually a lack of love? Not a lack of love for others, but a lack of love towards yourself. And this is the key. And I feel this is the portal. The way to resonate with wealth is not by perfecting your strategy. It's by letting your guard down. So ask yourself right now, who are you protecting by not letting love in? Many times resistance to receiving is a trauma response. We've been hurt, we've been abandoned, and we've been taken advantage of. So we create these boundaries, but sometimes those boundaries, they become barriers. And I know for me, the more I harden myself to people, the more abundance stopped flowing to me as well. And I always had to prove that I could do it alone and that I didn't need anyone. But these boundaries, they constrict our energy when they're rooted in fear. Standards, however, they are powerful. Standards are a proclamation, a frequency. They declare what you will and will not accept without closing your heart. This is a key turning point in growing a business as a purpose-driven millionaire. Resistance, we often call money blocks, is actually the act of turning love away. If you truly allowed love to enter your being, would more money follow? Yes, it would. It is because of love that we align with the frequency of wealth. And yes, that includes financial prosperity. It includes overflow. It includes income expansion. It includes divine compensation. Because when you love yourself, you generate overflow within yourself. And only from that place can you radiate love outward in your business, to your clients, to your audience, to your offers, and to your legacy. Let me give you an example of what this can look like. Not long ago, a former coaching client, someone I truly adore, reached out asking if she could book just a 1-hour session with me and offered to pay for that hour. And while I appreciated her trust and willingness to invest, I said no. Not because I didn't want to support her, but because I knew that my process, my work, my energy, it doesn't live inside a single 60-minute container. It's not surface level work. 1 hour would barely scratch the surface of what she truly needed, and it wouldn't serve her highest transformation. So I lovingly declined. And that decision, it wasn't about setting a harsh boundary. It was about honoring my standard. A standard rooted in integrity, in depth, and soul-aligned transformation. Had I said yes just to please her, that would have been a boundary rooted in fear, in people-pleasing, in avoiding discomfort. So by saying no from love, I stayed in alignment with the depth and impact I stand for, and I honored her too. Because she deserves more than a quick fix. She deserves the full power of my process, and I wasn't going to dilute it. That's the difference. Boundaries protect. Standards radiate. Boundaries can close the door. Standards open the right ones. Let's make this tangible. Do you love what you do? Does your business amplify your energy or does it drain it? Do you wake up excited to create, share, and serve? Do you feel like your work reflects the fullness of who you are or just the parts of you that you think are marketable? Because love, it's not one-dimensional. It's multifaceted. It's dynamic. It's sacred. And your business, your brand should reflect that. And I want to say, you are love. You are not a strategy, and you're not a productivity machine. So, how do we actually live this? How do we start infusing love back into our business? And here's something that you can start for yourself today. Audit your business through the lens of love. Ask, what parts of this still feel joyful? Which ones feel like obligation or fear? And then go through your offers, your calendar, or even your inbox and see what no longer resonates. Give yourself permission to evolve. Speak to your business like it's alive. Take 3 minutes and literally say, I love you. Thank you for supporting me. And you can even write a love letter to your business. Bless your bank account. Thank your clients energetically before they even arrive. And you can do all of this. You can create all of this before you calculate. Let one small post, one email, one session this week be born purely from inspiration, not from a tactic and not from a formula, just your resonance. See what happens when you lead from love first. Because when you infuse your business with love, your clients will feel it in your words, your offers, and your presence. And when was the last time you expressed love to yourself, to your business, to the person that you're in a relationship with? Love and trust go hand in hand. Today's episode isn't just about shifting your money mindset. It's about healing your ability to receive love, to expand your field, and to allow more in. And then to radiate that out in the world with a ripple effect that reaches further than you can imagine. Because money is love, and love wants you to let it in. And overflow, it's not about numbers. It's about vibration. Being in overflow is a high frequency, elevated state of being. It's where you communicate from your soul and you show it fully expressed. You help others get results because your energy is encoded with love, not lack. So love, it is the ultimate yes, and it is woven into money. The exchange of this money is sacred because when you hold the intention to do more good in the world, money hears you. And love supports you, and you are not asking for too much. You are a vessel for transformation. I posted a reel on Instagram. It wasn't a launch or a strategy. It was just me speaking truth from my heart. I talked about what it feels like to stay in a job where you're undervalued, underrecognized, where your responsibilities keep growing far beyond your role, and where you just feel like no one actually sees you. And I got a DM from someone who wrote, "Are you reading my mind?" And that one message held so much because I could feel the depth of her emotions in just those few words. And I didn't push. I didn't urge her to sign up or take action because this moment wasn't about strategy or closing a sale. It was about holding space, another form of love. She's still moving through some fear. I could sense it. And she's still in her healing process. And she's still remembering that she's worthy of more and finding the courage to choose herself fully. And here's what I want to bring to the forefront. As business owners, we're often taught to act on those moments, to slide into those DMs, to close when someone is vulnerable. But that is not attracting money from overflow. That is scarcity wrapped in urgency. And we can feel the difference. And this is where more entrepreneurs, they just need to pause to feel into what's really going on here. Because sometimes support looks like space, not pressure, not a discount code, but just being there in that moment. And purpose-driven millionaires, they hold space. We trust the timing. We lead with integrity. And we know that when someone chooses to say yes from alignment, not fear, that moment becomes sacred because sometimes the transformation begins before the transaction. In the quiet acknowledgement of, I see you and I feel this too. And that's exactly what happened. Her message landed in my heart and it softened something in me. It reminded me that love leads. And it reminded her that she's not alone. And that is overflow. Because it's not about immediate action. It's about resonance. It's about your energy reaching someone before they're ready to say yes. And when they are on their own timeline from their truth, they'll know. And that's the power of being in your frequency. You don't have to push, you just have to be. And overflow is when someone says, "You gave me permission to feel this," before they ever click buy. And it's not always about converting, it's about connecting. It's from that connection that all things flow. And that resonance you create just by being in your truth, it doesn't end with one message. It ripples outward. It shapes others and how they see themselves. And it plants seeds that grow long after this moment has passed. Because when you lead from overflow, you don't just inspire people, you open the field of what's possible for them. Because wealth, it responds to love. And when you live from that vibration, you don't just shift your own life, you shift lineage. You pass this energy down to your children, your clients, your colleagues, your community. This is legacy in motion, not 10 years from now, but right now. And we're here to allow more money to move through us, to build the capacity to hold it, to circulate it, to become stewards of energetic freedom. And we were never meant to follow someone else's blueprint. We were meant to create our own. And by doing that, we empower others to do the same. We are love. And that's just plain and simple. And we're here to evolve consciousness, to move people out of survival and into resonance, to activate love as a divine force of good. But how do we actually begin creating legacy right now? Well, let's make it real. We start by the way we talk about money at home, whether it's with your partner, your kids, your parents, or even just with yourself. Change the narrative. Don't just say, "We can't afford that." Say, "Let's call in the resources for that." Instead of modeling stress around finances, model intention, model gratitude, model capacity, and then model openness to receiving. If you're a parent, create rituals around financial expansion. Let your child witness you blessing your invoices before paying them. Celebrate when you receive unexpected abundance, even small amounts. And speak lovingly about your work, not just what it earns, but what it creates. Legacy doesn't begin with the legal will. It begins with how you live, with the energy you model, because you don't just leave people money. You show them how to feel safe receiving it. And that's inheritance of the highest kind. But your legacy, it doesn't stop with your family. It expands into your community, your clients, and the collective. Because when you live in overflow, it naturally spills into the spaces around you. You begin to shift the field, not just for your lineage, but for the world you're a part of. In your business or your body of work, you create legacy when you codify your essence into something that can ripple outward beyond the people in your immediate circle. Here's how you can do that. You can package your process, even if it's intuitive or energetic. Start articulating it in a way others can grow from. Host a ritual, a circle, or experience where your unique gifts guide others into alignment. And choose one message or truth that's alive in your heart and makes it visible in a podcast, a workshop, or a public offering. You don't need a big platform to create a global shift. You just need one person to be changed by your energy. And that one person shares it with another and another. And legacy lives in how you make people feel and how you leave them better than when you first meet them and how your voice becomes a mirror of their own truth. This is how we shift lineages. This is how we shift culture. And this is how we let wealth be a force of good. Because wealth, it isn't something you earn. It's something that you embody. And you don't have to work harder to prove that you're worthy. You don't have to sacrifice love or money. You don't have to hustle your way into feeling good because you're already love. And love is what wants to keep moving through you. And this right now is how we build legacy, not someday, but staying connected to yourself by letting more in, more love, more money, more support without any guilt. By creating a life and a business that runs on overflow, not depletion. And the beautiful part, That kind of living, it doesn't just change your life. It shows others what's possible. It models expansion and gives others permission. We're not here to package ourselves into someone else's version of success. We're here to lead with what's true, to show up with our whole hearts. And if this episode touched something inside of you, if it softened a layer, brought something up, or simply reminded you that you're not alone, don't leave that moment hanging. I created a free guided meditation just for this episode, the Wealth and Receiving Ritual. This practice is designed to support you in releasing the emotional weight of the old money stories, softening the resistance that kept wealth at a distance. And it expands your capacity to receive with ease, trust, and self-worth. And you can listen to it right now. The link is in the show notes below. And if you're inside the membership, your full legacy log, the Take It Deeper video, and the bonus affirmations are waiting for you under episode 3. You'll have the expanded ritual, deeper prompts, and a space to share your reflections inside the community. Because we're not just listening, we're living this work together. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your love. And thank you for receiving. Next time, we'll dive into episode 4, Sacred Sales, Messages that Convert with Integrity. Until then, receive first, lead from overflow, let money love you because love is money. And you are worthy of both. And I will see you soon.